This is an astrology reading for SS on YouTube. Let's skip straight to the heart of the matter, shall we? Look at this. This is interesting. Now, if you're inclined to play the lottery, we're sitting in the eighth house of other people's money. I would, don't go nuts, but if you were to invest $1 or $2, I would invest it today. I'm just saying. This is pretty interesting that we have this for a secondary progression, by the way. So this is secondary progression, and this is a transit. And they both have the fortune hanging right on here, and it's today. So just saying. Again, don't go nuts. Don't blame me. Don't go nuts. But if you lose $1, $2, your chances are pretty good today, is what I'm saying. So let's skip to the actual meat of the reading now that we have that out of the way. And we'll go to the standard part where I talk about the basic natal chart. Hey, that rhymes. So, your natal chart SS, born 1966, is a whole lot of external, right? So, you remember from my astrology lessons, the bottom side is sort of internal. It's your private self and things like this. And the top side is your public self. And you are definitely leaning towards, very greatly towards, in fact 100% towards the top side of external, meaning that you're really good with people. You're really good with people. So you could see that you're really good with people up here at work. We have a +6 Venus. Holy moly, up here in the work column along with the sign of Gemini, meaning you're excellent at work. You kind of have that Gemini double-sided thing going at work, but yeah, you're excellent at work. You have great communication at work, and you have the fortune here as well, sort of meaning that this is going to be a key point for you, right? A key point for you, and we have the ruler of that over here. So I think that you have a lot of intuitive insight and you're able to communicate that as well. If you do, especially with a +3 over here, and when I say +3, I'm talking about over here in the dignities. So we have a supercharged Jupiter over here. Then we have a supercharged, well, sort of charged Mercury over here, which is ruling this house. So you have great communication not only at work, but over here in the house of karma, which is kind of a bad house. However, this is kind of good for you because I think it sort of connects you with things beyond the physical realm, right? With the spiritual realm. I think you're able to sort of sense things, or you have this intuition about you that other people don't understand. And with Leo on that, I think you'd be an excellent tarot reader as well. So you could sort of present that ability and such. And I think that we'd be greatly enhanced with it. And speaking of enhanced, we have fortune over here with the sextile, and then again we have another sextile with Venus. And in a day chart, Venus is not super powered, but that +6, I'm just saying that +6 really gives him the ability to boost this communication that you have with sort of the afterlife or this psychic realm. So I think again you'd be an excellent tarot reader. Now we do have the moon over here, which sort of points me, especially at 8 degrees, to sort of this not only a love for travel, right? No love for travel. Everybody has a love for travel. It's kind of obvious. But I think that you have this really sort of your heart into the travel. I think this is something that you really enjoy, and when you go travel it's exciting. You like to travel with other people. The reason I say that is because look at all this stuff over here in the other people column, right? You love to travel with other people. You have this sextile coming in with both the sun and Jupiter for travel. Now I know a lot of people are saying, what about him? He is a malefic, the worst malefic in the chart, because we're on a day chart. That's a bad malefic. But look at this. Dignities -1. He got nerfed, right? Somebody put a pillow over his face and told him to shut up. He's pretty much nerfed at this point. I don't think that he is going to be affecting this travel or love or that or anything. I think more we have this +5 superpowered sun and Jupiter sort of enhancing over here with this sextile, the moon, and again the love for travel. Not only that, but I think that you have a fondness for religions. I mean, this is the house of travel and religion, right? Long distance travel, maybe a Europe trip, something that you would really enjoy and really love. So we're getting sort of in the older bracket, so you're going to have a little more money if you're working, sort of that pre-retirement age kind of thing. So you should be able to do some of this stuff, and a lot of this is really going to be helpful, and especially with the midheaven up here as well. So let's look at work. Again, work. We have this fondness for work. We have this fondness for career, or basically your legacy, or what you enjoy doing. And again, since we have the entire chart focused up here, I think that that's really going to be enhanced for you, and I think that's really going to be special for you, and I think that you're probably a superstar at whatever you do full time. So we'll look at the other people. Now, the other people, you sort of regard them as family, right? We have Cancer over here. You have this sort of regard them as family, and the Cancer sign is over here in the long distance travel and such, so religion and such. And we have a fixed sign as well, so you could be a bit stubborn in that regard. You could be a bit stubborn in how you interact with people. You could be a bit stubborn or a bit fixed. It's a fixed. You could be a bit fixed in how you have your interactions. In other words, I like my interactions to be this way. I like this circle of friends. If I have a new friend, of course, I have a superpowered, other people section over here. So yes, I'm going to be able to accommodate them. I'm going to be able to love them, make them feel special and loved and things like this, especially with the sun sitting over here. And you are a sun sign of Cancer, so you're able to sort of wrap them in, make them feel home, make them feel like they're a family. And with the Jupiter, you're able to do that well. I mean, probably better than anybody else. You got a +5 Jupiter. That's going to be just awesome. So that's one of those things. But with the sun being -5, I think you have sort of this confusion about how you do that, or sort of a reticence to fully embrace someone until you really, really get to know them, right? Until you really, really get to know them. And that sun sign is sort of pointing me as well, because of the square. It's sort of pointing me as well to maybe you have a bit of a self-conscious issue with your appearance. In other words, your appearance has to be a certain way. If it's not the way that you want it, you're not really going to be all that comfortable, and it's going to be something to where, I don't know, you just have that sort of self-confidence hit sometimes, and you're not really sure about yourself. But I think once you get in there, and once you're able to rock the house with that +5 Jupiter, I think you're going to be okay. So Jupiter is also concerned with money. Again, we have this thing with money, even though the money house is sort of vacant, but we have the money house ruler up here again in the career section. So the money house ruler is a +6. So I think you're able to sort of get that money. We have the trine over here. I think you're able to sort of get that money and be able to earn what you need, and such. So again, we have the communication, sort of the afterlife, and all this other stuff. So let's look over here at the let's get the annual perfections out of the way. So we have an annual perfections. Again, let me show you what I sort of see with some of this annual perfection stuff. So again, look at this column here. If you can see my cursor, I'll point. I need to increase the size of that thing. There we go. So I'll point. So let's look over here, right? So over here, again, we have this communication with money. This is the end of June. It's almost like you're going to come into some kind of money. So you're going to come into some kind of money. Something's headed your way. Again, go spend $1 on a lottery ticket. Don't go crazy and blame me. $1. I'm just saying, cut it off at $1 or $2, and that's it. Don't blame me. Don't blame the fat guy reading the astrology. Okay. So we have this communication with money. We have this action, right? Fourth house action, communication, and sort of this, I don't know, we have this sort of this feel of going and doing something important, right? As far as in this regard, as far as 2019 is concerned. Now, this is the house of kind of the redundant everyday work. It's not a peak house, that's why I put it in orange. It's not like a hot house. It's not anything amazing. But we do have Saturn, the ruler, over here, and Saturn is sort of pointing to relationships. So sort of like relationships and money. And then we have Mars sort of sneaking into the fourth house. And again, this is all about the action that leads to something, okay? Now here is the something, and this sort of goes back to your zodiacal releasing thing. So here's your zodiacal releasing thing. We'll give a peek here. But sort of, we have this money coming in August. There's something coming again in August. Something's happening. And this is your peak period. So if you look over here as far as perfections are concerned, with this moon in the second house, money, right? Second house, and we're talking sextile 12th house, the 12th house being the communications, sort of the afterlife kind of effect. But as we sneak in here, we have some issues with other people, right? With the 11th house, we have sort of an issues communicating with the other people from the 5th house, which is sort of your expression, your expressive children, things like this. We have some sort of an issue with the communication. And then again, so we're hovering over the second house, and I know the moon moves so quick, it's all over the place, so why are we doing moon? But I mean, I'm just saying. Then we have the money square over here, money square the 11th house, right? So we have the second house square the 11th house. Like we have this halt of communication or some issues with communication, as well as the fourth and the 10th house, talking about work and things like this. It could be maybe something happened at work as far as money is concerned. There's communication involved and things like this. But I think that we're giving a sneak peek over. But I think that something's coming. Something big is coming. So something big is coming in August, and you can see this with the perfections as well. So August of next year we have something even bigger. But I'm just saying, look at August 15th, right? We're coming back over here to your prime spot, your first house. I just think August 15th we have something that sort of rounds out. We have your peak period, but again we're talking about the two fortunes being here. So it could be so the two fortunes in this other chart, it could be, is that going to come to the front? Yeah. So these two fortunes in the other chart, it could be a variety of things. Again, we're in the 8th house of death, taxes, other people's money. It could be an influx of money from, again, from something. Maybe something is lost, maybe an inheritance or something like this. We have it just straight up across that, shining in the rays. I think that something's happening with there. We'll review this chart in a minute, but I think something's good is coming in there. So to finish this off, 2020 is going to be a better year for you overall with perfections is concerned, right? So I think 2020 is going to have some heightened relationships. Again, we have this malefic, but it's +5 and it is in a day chart, so I mean it's not that bad, but it's going to be sort of this feel of separation when we first start 2020, but as 2020 progresses, I think it's going to be better, especially if you look at the transits. It's going to be something that 2020 is going to be a little better year for you than 2019 was. 2019 is sort of settled and sort of a little bit off in many ways, but I think it's going to improve in 2020. It's going to have some improvement there. But again, I mean, you're already set up as far as communications is concerned, other people is concerned, just the outer life, right? The outer life where you get out of the house, you run around, everything's fun and cool. I think that's going to be your main focus overall in your life, and I think that's never really going to change. Now, again, 2020 we're getting right into the outer section. So I think again, starting 2020, you're going to have a better time than what you had pretty much so far in 2019. So look for a good year next year, and look for something interesting to happen this year as well. So again, let's sneak over here to this Hellenistic worksheet for you. So grab that, and we're kind of done with this. We'll grab this and we'll come to the chart in a minute. Move your worksheet over here. So if we look at the Hellenistic worksheet, so the good planet for you is going to be, good planet for you is going to be Jupiter, right? Jupiter is going to be your key. Jupiter is going to be a great planet for you. Your bad planet, because we're in a day chart, is going to be Mars. But again, Mars is -1. Mars is kind of nerfed. So I wouldn't count on Mars to do a whole lot of damage. It's kind of nerfed. Jupiter, however, is super powered. It literally is super powered, and that's your good planet. So watch anywhere that Jupiter goes. Anywhere that Jupiter goes, I want you to really sort of watch that. It's going to be important for you. Your sign of fortune is going to be Gemini, and you can see that in the birth chart. Sign of fortune is going to be Gemini. Now it's moved into Taurus in the progress chart and the transits chart. But so the lord of the hour marker is Mercury. Mercury was sitting in the 12th house in your natal chart. So look for Mercury to sort of make an appearance. And again, he's in the 12th house in your natal chart. So 12th house is going to be important for you for tarot reading, important for you for things like this. And I think your accuracy in tarot reading is probably going to be magnificent. It's going to be magnificent. I would really get into this as far as tarot, whatever you're into. I would really get into that and use that ability. That's going to be one of your key abilities, and I think that's going to be just fantastic for you. Your perfection sign, well, for this year, is going to be over here with Aquarius. So again, that's hanging out in the sixth house. The sixth house is not that friendly. That's the house of it's sort of the house of health as well, right? It's sort of the health and medical type stuff, and it's also the house of day-to-day chores or meaningless work, right? Work where you just part-time work, gig work, or something like this. So this is going to be where you're sitting at. And again, we're going to be an improvement in 2020, so I wouldn't concern yourself if this year's not as great as you thought it was going to be. Again, your perfection house is the sixth house. It's not a great house. Next year, it's going to be seventh house, and I think it's going to be better for you for relationships, a lot better for you for relationships. So let's look at your annual perfection. So 2019, we have a moderate hit to the relationships. We have a +5 Saturn, which is a malefic, but it is +5. However, we're in a day chart, right? He's not going to do that much damage. I think we're going to have a moderate hit to the relationships. We're going to have sort of a mixture to the relationships because he's bleeding over into that. So let me pull that back up. Where did it go? Is that it? Is that it? No, that's somebody else's. Sorry. I'm not going to find it, am I? Where is it? Okay, here it is. Okay, so moderate hit to the relationships. Again, we're talking about the perfection. So the perfection's here. Again, it's bleeding over into here. So I wouldn't worry too much about it, but just expect that we're going to have sort of this mixture between relationships and having a rough time and a good time. But I mean, again, it's not going to be too bad. It's not going to be detrimental. It's not going to be anything serious. So I wouldn't concern yourself with it. We have the opposition as well from Mercury. So we have this Mercury opposition, and I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't concern yourself. Mercury is +3. I wouldn't concern yourself too much. Again, I said moderate hit, but we do have that sort of that communication hiccup there. Okay, so annual perfection is all about a climb, right? You climb the mountain, you're at the peak, and then you sort of descend. So let's look at your peak periods. Your peak periods are going to be over here, right? Here and here. These are going to be your major peak periods. We have the 10th house, then we have the first house. 10th and first house are going to be your peak periods. These are going to be your biggies. These are going to be your biggies. When you see these in this perfections chart over here, these are going to be your biggies. Okay, now your next level down at the moderate is going to be over here. So when we have a perfection that hits the 7th house, it's going to be moderate. Now this is going to be minor. So we sort of mark these up as such as well. Okay, so let's look at that. So May 20th, and again, you have this interesting long periods of time. You have these long periods of time between level ones, and this is just you started at a really weird place. So you have these long periods. So life is going to feel like slow, right? Life is going to sort of slog around. You're going to be stuck in this rut, or you're going to be stuck in this place for quite some time. Because if you look at, again, here's your peak period, right? Then here's your descending, and then, let's see, where are we at? I have to find myself on the chart. So there's your descending, and then here's your ascending, where you're climbing the mountain, and here's your peak period. So you'll look, 86 to 2010, we're in this descending, this overall feel of this descending, right? But level 2 obviously splits it down some, but you have these long periods, so life is just going to sort of slog for you a lot of times. So again, look at May 20th through June 19th. That's a huge period of time. August to October is a huge period of time. So you had this peak May 20th to June 19th, right? So we're talking this downward spiral after June 19th hits. June 19th to July have this downward spiral. Everything's just sort of winding down. Now it's ramping back up. We're talking ramping back up July to August. So July to August is going to improve a bit, and then August to October you have this massive time to where everything's just going to sort of rock for you, right? I mean, that's a pretty good amount of time. It's going to be your peak period. And again, I think on your peak period, we're talking about something with money. Again, we're looking over here at this August section, and we have the second house moon and this communication with the 12th. It's almost like maybe you're making money from something or something. We have this fifth house expression, fifth house children with the 11th house. It's like that there's some communication going, and the communication is mixed, right? We have mixed communication with other people. So maybe you're excited about something, they're not so excited about something. So I think something's going to happen. And again, I'm asking you about inheritance because again, I mean, we have that double eighth house of other people's money. So kind of wondering about what that is at this point. And when you find out, please let us know. Please let us know in the comments. So again, look forward to August 15th, your peak period. This is going to be a biggie. It's going to be a biggie. This is your home base. It's going to be a biggie. We have a minor one. A minor one, January to March. That's a long, again, you have long periods. Life is going to be great for a long time or sort of slog for a long time. January to March, we have a minor. I wouldn't concern yourself too much with this. I really wouldn't concern yourself too much with this. It's going to be a minor period, but I think it's going to be something that's going to be kind of cool, right? So look for the so look for that and try to find out, sort of what that is. So now we have the descending as we sort of move into Libra. And again, we're going to have another peak period. Again, this is going to be a moderate one. It's going to be a moderate one. So we look at your chart, moderate peak is going to be over here with Sagittarius. Major peak. Major peaks are going to be Gemini and Pisces. Gemini and Pisces are going to be your meat and potatoes. Okay. Moderate peak is over here. I wouldn't even worry about this minor peak over here. So look at Zodiacal releasing notes. I want to say before we start here that August 20, right here, August 14th, 2020, we have a loosing of the bond. What that means is a major life switch or major life change where things in your life sort of move past one stage and go to another, right? Sort of either a change maybe in career, or maybe you're looking at early retirement, or maybe you have this new hobby that you're taking up. I mean, there's some change, right? There's some movement from something old to something new, right? We have that old to new feel, and that feel is going to hit in August of 2020. And again, you have these long periods. You have August 2020 to October. It's going to take some time. You're not one that has these vast and quick and super fast things, right? So you have that loosening of the bond. You have some life event or life switch. Again, mid-August to October. It's going to take some time. Your life goes slow. It's going to take some time. Again, we have the double fortune. We have this nice, awesome double fortune in the eighth house. I'm not really sure what that is. Again, hey, maybe inheritance, maybe something's going on. You're losing something. It's also the house of birth. You could be somebody could be having a baby. I really don't know. And then again, we have the major life events in August 2020. And then we have a moderate peak in May 9th. But your big peaks, again, you can just sort of screenshot this, your worksheet here. So you can sort of screenshot this, and you got a fixed as you climb, which a fixed, that's really going to make you climb slow. Again, you already have that slow feel to your life. That fix is going to make it feel kind of slow. When you do hit a peak period, it's mutable. So your peak periods are going to be a bit more of a transitionary thing to where you're able to sort of shift with the change, and I think you're able to do that anyway, especially with the way your chart is set up. So, but it's going to be mutable, and it's going to be you're going to be able to adjust to change and things like that. So your descending period, as you sort of go down, is going to be cardinal. So you're going to descend a little quicker. Descension is going to be something where you feel like you need to do something, but you can't do it because you're in that descending period. But again, overall you have such a fantastic chart. I don't think you're really going to have many problems. So let's look at the secondary progressions plus transits. So this is for today, basically. I ran it for today. But again, we have the double fortune, whatever. But we have the double fortune is sort of getting hit by the -1 Mars, right? By the -1 Mars, so you sort of feel like you should be doing something. That transit, I'm gonna feel like I should be doing something. I feel like I should be doing something, but I can't, or life moves slow, or I have all these obstacles, or stuff like this. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think the double fortune is really going to just slap it in the face. I don't think you're really going to have that big of a problem. So again, we have up here where the original spot for the beautiful fortune was, we have this sun. And again, you remember the sun is sort of nerfed as well, but it's getting a boost from the benefic over here in Leo. It's getting a boost from the benefic over here in Leo. So we're looking at sort of this not only this itch to travel or this itch for long distance travel, but the descendant being up here as well sort of means that you may not be able to do it. You may not be able to do it. Something could get in your way, especially especially with the Jupiter across the street here. The Jupiter across the street. So two ways to look at this. We could look at this as a Hellenistic way, right? Hellenistic way, we have Jupiter across the street, maybe the shining of the rays, but we have 18, and then we have like 7. So I really wouldn't concern myself with that, right? But then you have the other thing of maybe it's just a whole house boost or a whole house hit. But overall, I just see this urge for the travel, this urge for long distance travel, urge to get out. You just feel like you just want to get out. It's just time for vacation. It's one of those things. It's time for vacation. It's definitely. You get that itch, you get that feel, especially at summertime. Oh yeah, the beautiful sun's out and everything else. It's time for that vacation, but there's something in the way. There's something in the way. I'm sorry. There's something. The sun being -5. And I know it's not -5 over here, and it was only -5 over here. The sun with the -5, but it's gonna feel like something's in the way. You probably could sneak it out anyway, but it just has that feel. So the sun is getting a boost, like an exact degree boost, right? With a sextile over here from Venus, and again, being in Leo, you could have that boost, could bring it up. So we're sort of iffy on that long-term travel, but that vacation itch is really hitting you. So over here in the 10th house, right? 10th house of career and things like this, we have not only Jupiter, but we have Mercury, and Mercury was superpowered. You remember? So Mercury was superpowered, Jupiter was superpowered. I think it's really going to be a good time for work, especially now. Again, let's sit in Cancer. I think it's going to be a good time for work. I would ignore this guy. Again, he was -1. He is sort of close to Mercury. If Mercury goes retrograde, I forgot to look for that. But if Mercury does go retrograde, I would watch out for that. So you could have something at work to where nobody understands you. Like you're trying to get something across, nobody does what you need. As far as career is concerned, as far as your career is concerned, maybe nobody does what you need in whatever you do with fame and whatever you do with your legacy type thing, your career. Nobody does what you do, having a rough time. So you could look for that with that being that close. I wouldn't be too concerned with it because you just have so much support. I wouldn't be that harsh with it. Look at the 11th house of other people. Don't see any transits. I do see this, but I don't see that. Could have the sun sort of shining on this, so we could have this effect for secondary progressions to where when you're interacting with other people, or you have other people, you could be meeting somebody special. Right? So, we do have that with the moon as well, and so we look at the moon with secondary progressions. Secondary progression moon sort of indicates maybe we have a new relationship, or maybe we have some sort of a fancy thing where we have, someone coming in, right? Someone special coming in, someone that's notable coming in. And again, that could be, if you use the big enough orb, that could be getting a boost over here with the trine. But secondary progressions is all about the moon. Everybody sort of Secondary progression is where's the moon? Well, your moon is in here, and it is Aries as well. You have that feel, right? That feel like maybe I need to find a relationship. Maybe it's time for a change in a relationship. Maybe I need to find somebody in relationships. So this could be a pretty good time for that. This could be a good year for that. But again, we go back to the perfections. The perfections sort of say that maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work. We have a malefic sitting there, but he's not that bad because we're in the day chart. So now it's not a malefic, it's sort of just neutral. So maybe we have a chance at other relationships in the secondary progression chart. It could be. So we look for the ruler of Aries. We come back over here, right? And that sort of points me again to this family. Maybe we need some sort of a member to the family, or maybe you feel like you need somebody special that sort of could contribute to the family, or have something special to bring, or something special to contribute. And that's going to be a lot of what you feel, sort of within this year as well, combined with, I know, the other 90 things that I said. So anyway, definitely an interesting time for you. Definitely an interesting time. I am kind of curious as to what's coming in August, especially with these transits that I saw. Where's my transit window? Especially with the transits that I saw, I'm kind of curious what comes in August. So if you'll please let us know in the comments, I'm very curious. And again, here is your worksheet. You can use this worksheet for the rest of your life. You can say this is a major peak, so you can run this stuff online. Go to a website and run your zodiacal releasing, and use this worksheet to sort of help you out with that. So you can see your descending periods, your peak periods, and things like that, major peaks, moderate peaks, and sort of read your own chart, and use this forever. So I hope that was helpful. I know it's probably confusing. I talk fast. That's how I roll. But I mean, here's your midpoint tiers. I'm not going to go into that. I'm probably running into half an hour at this point. So yeah, very cool. Anyway, so yeah, if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe. If you would like a reading of your own, please, I'll do a reading for free. I love doing readings. I do readings at Psychic Fairs with this stuff. I'll give you your zodiacal releasing. I'll give you all the exciting stuff that's coming. I'll tell you what's coming this year and next year, all for free. How can you go wrong? Send me your birth date and your birth time. Birth time, critical. Please, critical. Go look it up. Call mom. Birth time is critical. Birth date, birth time, and the location, so city, state you were born. And please include the state that you're in now. I don't want to know where you're at. Just give me the state, right? The state, or the general area that you're in, so we can do transits. And then I can do transit. If you don't want transit, don't tell me, the state that you're in now, whatever. So if you give me this information, I'll be able to run your chart, and I'll give you as much information as I can, get all sorts of cool stuff, and break down your stuff. So email me at the email in the description. In the description, there's an email. So email me there. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.